Minister Ong.
Mr. Chairman, every industry is undergoing transformation and disruption. The public service and its 145,000 employees are no exception. Transformation is not new to the public service. From computerization in the 1980s, the PS21 movement in the 1990s, the service has pushed itself to change with the times. Today, as DPM Teo mentioned, we will need to find opportunities amidst challenges of technological disruption and slowing workforce growth. The question is, what areas should we focus on? To answer that question, let me first talk about the state of the public service today. It is generally healthy. It continues to uphold the values of honesty and integrity, strives to serve the public better, and we are able to attract our fair share of talent. These are critical aspects of a functioning and effective public service. Today, ministers and public service work closely together to continue to deliver public housing, healthcare, education, transport, maintain law and order, keep Singapore safe and secure, attract investments, regulate various sectors, ensure social mobility, etc. So to Ms. Cha Yong-yong's question, who asked whether public servants have buy-in to government policy, I would say by and large, public officers are committed to policies set by the elected government. It does not happen that way in every country, and it did not happen here just because public officers are yes men or yes women. In fact, Ms. Cha is correctly worried that buy-in, we don't want it to be weakened over time. So what she says is actually opposite of Mr. Louis Ng's concern that public servants are not speaking up and opposing government's policy. This system works today because of the mutual trust and respect between ministers and public officers, which have been built up through years of working together. Public officers know that national policies are developed in the long-term interests of Singapore and Singaporeans. Ministers have confidence that when they set a policy direction or make a policy speech, the public service will back them up with diligent implementation. But public officers are not public figures, so ministers understand that they have to do the heavy lifting in engaging the populace and speak up for public officers when they are unfairly criticized. This is something that we must continue to work on and not let it be weakened. Citizen engagement, including co-creation with the public, has been a major focus since public sector transformation started in 2012. So on Ms. Cha Yong-yong's question again, when she asked about whether public servants understand ground sentiments and whether sufficient effort has been put in to engage the ground, the public service over the years have expanded both digital and community outreach channels. For example, people's associations have a Kopi Talk series. MCI's rich listening points and Facebook live chats enable agencies to engage broader segments of society and understanding people's sentiments. We have also been growing our citizen engagement capabilities. For example, the Citizen Engagement Seed Fund was set up in 2016 to encourage agencies to trial innovative engagement approaches. This fund has supported 16 projects by various agencies which have created new opportunities for citizen participation. These projects include MOH's Citizens' Jury on Diabetes and the Singapore Tourism Board's Envisioning Exercise for Chinatown and Little India. So to Ms. Sylvia Lim's question, it has become the norm for agencies to do public consultations on legislative amendments. Over the past 1 year, ministries have done consultation over a wide range of bills, and these are very useful exercises to solicit the concerns the public may have on the bills or suggestions that can improve both the policy thinking as well as the policy implementation. The extent and approach to consultation, the duration of consultation, however, is determined by each ministry, depending on factors such as the nature of legislative amendment, impact of the changes, and also the level of public interest. In certain circumstances, such as when the bills are time-sensitive or revisions are routine, a ministry may decide not to conduct a public consultation exercise. Ms. Sylvia Lim also mentioned that bills can be better presented and second reading speeches can also be improved. We take note of all that, and as always, we are always striving to improve. Another way which public service is continuously improving on is the last mile of service delivery and the touch point with the public. The basic nature of public service is that it serves the masses. So the first challenge is that service delivery can be impersonal. Further, because the system must work for the masses, consistency in application of rules is critical. Otherwise, you get invidious comparison between citizen A and citizen B. So the second challenge is that the system can be inflexible and does not cater sufficiently to exceptions. Associate Professor Fatima Latif, Mr. Cedric Fu, Mr. Sia Kim Peng, Mr. Patrick Tay ask how the public service is innovating, raising productivity, especially in the context of technological advancement. I think tackling these two challenges is a good down-to-earth start. To tackle impersonality, we can leverage technology. Today, our smartphones and apps can communicate with us in an individualized way, even though they are automated systems. So Health Promotion Board's Health 365 app is like a fitness buddy to us. And CPF Board has launched a CPF retirement planning service, where frontline officers use technology to transform citizens' data into personalized infographics to provide citizens with personalized advice on CPF matters. So as a result, the conversations between the CPF officers and the public became richer and more meaningful. SMS Janil will speak more about the efforts we are taking to fully leverage technology to deliver public service. The second challenge of inflexibility is much harder to overcome. It involves tempering a system that is consistent and Six Sigma reliable by design, with a recognition that there are exceptions. Rules are not perfect, and human judgment and discretion is needed from time to time. In the public service, my view is that the key innovation is not so much driven by technology, but by our humanistic instincts to make a sound judgment, take a bit of risk, take responsibility for our decisions. And we need to empower middle management, even ground officers, to be able to do that while ensuring that the integrity of the system, not to give special favors, remains intact. Making this change pervasive will truly transform the public service delivery. To be even better in meeting citizens' needs. To bring about a change in human behavior, we need to make changes to the system that influences it most, which is the human resource system. And this brings me to Mr. Lewis's question. And in fact, during the budget debate, Mr. Ng expressed concern that there is a culture of compliance. Public officers dare not speak up for fear of getting into trouble, and they gave up trying to improve things because such efforts would be in vain, and therefore some of them say, let's stop caring. Mr. Ng may not be aware, but the public service is undergoing a major transformation, an exercise that started in 2012 in order to serve the public better and be ready for the future. And it is self-initiated, demonstrating the long-standing ethos of serving with heart and commitment and always striving to do better for Singapore. The head of civil service has called on public officers to have a constructive discontent, dissatisfied with the status quo and wanting to do better. I've urged the service to be bold, think big, start small, act fast. This deep change cannot happen if the public service does not welcome ideas from its own officers. And as Mr. Ng has acknowledged, many permanent secretaries and CEOs engage staff directly to hear them out. And I agree with him, this ought to be across the board practice. In fact, all agencies today conduct regular employee engagement surveys, and many carry out other organizational development initiatives, one of which is a regular 360-degree feedback to better develop our public service leaders. We have also put in place a system such as the Public Sector Transformation Award to recognize officers who display constructive discontent and make the effort to effect transformative change. We have also recently incorporated into the bonus system a mechanism for agency to specifically recognize officers for their innovation and enterprise. Notwithstanding all these efforts, like all big and complex organizations, When there is a change, there will be those driving it, those supporting it, those worried about it, those wanting change in a totally different direction, and some resisting it. It is not just the public service. This happens in every organization. We are determined to succeed in this exercise and overcome the challenges and obstacles. The main obstacle is ourselves. Mr. Ng and Mr. Kok Heng Luan quoted me on this in their speeches during the budget debate. Thank you for that. But the next question is, if you accept that the biggest obstacle is ourselves, next question is, who does ourselves refer to? And the answer really starts with me. And so for me as a minister, I constantly have to ask myself, am I giving policy directions that are bold enough, clear enough, and empowering enough for my staff? For a permanent secretary or CEO, he will ask if he has built an effective organization with the right forward-looking culture that can embrace change. For a director, he will ask if within his area of responsibility, he has sufficiently made improvements, make public service more effective, service the public better, and empowered, motivated, and rallied his troops, the people reporting to him. And for an individual officer, he will ask whether he has acquired the skills to do the job better and serve the public better. If the starting point is that everyone else is an obstacle except yourself, then I say you need to care more about doing your work and doing your part, recognizing that there are pros and cons to every proposed change, and that effective change involves patience, persistence, and a hard slog. Mr. Louis Ng, although he's not a public service officer, as an MP and a public figure, you can do your part too. If some civil servants tell you they dare not speak up, you can assure them that from your own experience, you've always spoken up and never got into trouble. If they feel the system does not allow them to make a difference, ask them, what is it that you want to change? If it's a philosophical shift in government policy, like selling land to pay for healthcare costs, then you have to explain to them this is not the policy of this current government. If it is something that makes things better, but their immediate supervisor is not supportive, then inform their permanent secretary or the head of civil service, or even have a word with me, and I will see to it. Where the public service has fallen short, it will address the problem. But when generalizations that tar the entire service with the same brush are made in public, and worse, further spread through media, it does not do justice to our officers. It discourages and undermines improvement efforts. So I say to Mr. Louis Ng, be part of the change. Be part of the change. Work with and encourage the public service as it strives to transform itself to build a better future Singapore. Associate Professor Muhammad Faisal Ibrahim, Mr. Louis Ng, Mr. Patrick Tay asked a very pertinent question, how the public service can look beyond paper qualifications to recognize skills and competencies. And I believe Mr. Teo Ho Pin asked that question too. This has important relevance to the Skills Future movement. We want to encourage Singaporeans to uncover their passions and aptitudes in a diverse range of skills and master them through lifelong learning. We want a meritocracy of deep skills, not one of past academic results. The behavior of employers play a big part to engender this culture. Hence, the appraisal system in the public service is based on performance and demonstration of skills and competencies. A public officer is recognized based on his contribution and delivery of results, with past academic results having no bearing. But what I think the public service can continue to improve on is the recruitment criteria, how schemes are structured, and how people are placed into the schemes. For certain schemes where officers have to analyze data, develop policies, or even help lead large, complex organizations, we do need to look out for applicants with high cognitive skills, which academic results is one proxy to measure that. However, for work that is vocational or skills-based in nature, and there are plenty in the public service, there is much less need to sort or select based on academic results, or structure diploma and degree holders into different schemes with different salary scales and structures. Instead, we should continue to recruit based on the applicant's passion, skills, and aptitudes for the specific vocation. Hence, one change that we can implement for such skills-based job is to merge existing schemes for diploma and degree holders. And beyond the point of recruitment, it is on-the-job performance that determines the officer's progression. If we don't do this, we can have a situation where someone without a degree but has mastered the craft after many years of experience and on-the-job training is pegged below a fresh degree graduate doing the same job. This does not do justice to mastery and craftsmanship. PSD has done this merger for the generic management executive scheme in the civil service in 2015. And as Associate Professor Muhammad Faisal mentioned, MOE has also done this, so diploma and degree graduates now all come under the same education scheme. There are many other examples. One most recent example is the Air Traffic Control Officers, or ATCO scheme. Changi Airport is one of the busiest airports in the world. To keep our skies safe and secure, we need highly skilled and competent ATCOs to plan, guide, and direct air traffic in and out of Changi Airport. The CAAS prepares ATCOs for the job through a very rigorous skills-based training program. Since July 2017, all ATCOs, regardless of their academic qualifications, will be placed to the same grade and receive the same salaries once they are assessed and found to have the skills required for the job. PSD will work with other public agencies to identify other areas and other schemes where we can implement this. There are, however, situations where the profession or the industry feels that a separation of schemes between diploma and degrees is necessary. In those cases, we will establish a clear performance-based pathway for an officer to upgrade from the diploma scheme to the degree scheme. This is what MSF will do for the social work profession. Today, certified social workers need to be social work degree holders. As such, those who hold relevant diplomas, for example, the social work diploma from Nanyang Poly, can enter the sector as social work associates, or SWAs, playing a supporting role to the degree-holding social workers. To enable more diploma holders to become social workers, MSF has endorsed a new pathway. From the second half of this year, Skills Future Singapore, the Singapore University of Social Sciences, SUSS, and Nanyang Poly will introduce a new work-learn programs for SWAs. Through this program, diploma graduates and promising SWAs with work experience will be able to undergo social work training with suitable employers while attending classes at SUSS. This is a work-learn pathway, recognizing that social work is really a craft and is skills-based in nature. At the end of the 3-year program, the trainees will attain a Bachelor of Social Work and be certified a social worker. Minister Desmond Lee will speak more about this at the COS for MSF. Mr. Chairman, I will conclude by talking about an agency that have been making a successful leap in changing its mindset and operating model. One public agency that is really doing this is National Parks Board, or NParks. Its vision has evolved over the years from creating a garden city to having a city in a garden. This reimagining of its mission led to innovative projects that integrated nature with our urban landscape, such as Gardens by the Bay, a garden built on prime reclaimed land for an extended CBD, which is now a popular destination for locals and a must-see for tourists. There is also the Botanic Gardens, a national park within the city center, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a source of pride for Singaporeans. In my dealings with NParks, I found that they put citizens' interests at the center of whatever they do. From just providing a park near where you live, they are linking all the parks now through an island-wide park connector network, or PCN, so that they become one big park, accessible to all. In recent years, NParks has integrated into parks public facilities, such as the Woodlands Integrated Healthcare Cluster, the Safra Clubhouse at Choa Chu Kang, the Singapore Institute of Technology campus in Punggol. in Sembawang is stepped forward to undertake the sprucing up of the only hot spring in Singapore into a hot spring park for the public to enjoy. NParks also uses technology to help officers work better and more productively. For example, information of trees are now captured in a digitalized platform, accessible on officers' mobile devices, and sensors are now being trialed and installed to detect tilt in trees, so that mitigating measures can be taken early by the NParks officers. NParks people are valued for their skills and passion in this field. All officers are hired into the same management executive scheme. About 1/3 of them hold certifications in arboriculture, horticulture, and park management. Our city in a garden is the best place for these officers to polish their craft. The public service never leads in terms of remuneration and benefits. This is our operating philosophy. We see what the industries are offering and try our best to be competitive so that we have our fair share of talents. But where it concerns defining our missions, adopting of new technologies or human resource practices in response to emerging opportunities or national challenges, we must be prepared to be pioneer implementers and make that demonstrative impact. This is our role in Singapore's transformation journey to continuously improve our service to the public and build a better Singapore. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.